hundreds of Belizeans that have been infected by dengue fever since the beginning of the year. Belize City and Corozal are the two areas that have reported the majority of cases so far.
Talking about dengue, which is also a viral infection, and which is endemic of Belize, meaning that it's always present here. We do have this virus that infects you, and that it can take for your body anything between 5 to 7 days to create a defensive response to rid away of the virus. Once it enters your body, it travels to your blood, and it goes to different organs, including the liver, the kidney, the brain, the muscles, your bones, almost everywhere. And that is what causes the general symptoms that dengue is known for: fever, headaches, severe pains in your muscles and your bones. As a matter of fact, dengue has been called the break-bone disease for that reason. Most of these viruses or these viral diseases don't have a specific treatment. So in reality, most of the time, whenever a virus infects you and causes disease, we end up treating mainly the symptoms. And so it is your body really who needs time to do the healing. This response, which usually takes between 3 to 7 days, will be the one that eventually rids away of the virus.
This year specifically, there has been an unusually high number of dengue hemorrhagic cases recorded. While classic dengue can be notoriously painful, dengue hemorrhagic is considered a very serious condition.
Dengue that gives you headaches, pains, and fever and things like that is what we call classic dengue. Sometimes the same virus that causes the classic dengue can affect certain cells in your body which help to clot your blood. These little cells are called platelets. And when the platelets are affected and destroyed, then you can develop hemorrhagic dengue.
Once you've been diagnosed with classic dengue, you should be vigilant in looking for signs of hemorrhagic, especially within 5 days of experiencing symptoms.
Once the mosquito bites you, from that moment until you start having symptoms, a period of time between 1 to 7 days can go by. That's what we call an incubation period. Once the disease starts, we know from experience that if a patient develops hemorrhagic dengue, the platelets will come at the lowest point between the 5th and the 7th day. So it usually doesn't happen very early in the disease. Typically we see that about 5 to 7 days later.
At that point, are you still having severe symptoms?
Usually yes.
Okay.
But the thing with dengue is that after that, those 5 to 7 days, most of the symptoms start disappearing. So by that time you start feeling better, but you can still have your platelets at a low level, yes. All over the world we know that patients who develop hemorrhagic dengue can die due to that. Fortunately in Belize, for whatever reason, we have not seen that phenomenon happen too frequently. But yes, the potential of being a lethal disease is there.
Why?
Well, if you have a very low platelet count, you can bleed from anywhere. And that could be internal bleeding or skin bleeding. And then that bleeding can also lead to what we call organ failure. And the patient can die due to that.
Since no one can predict who will develop dengue hemorrhagic, it's best to check in with a doctor once you experience symptoms.
Any patient who has fever or headaches or pains for more than 24 hours should go to any health center or any clinic or any hospital to be checked, to do tests for dengue and also to check those platelet levels. If any person has dengue, they should be checking to look for bleeding anywhere. Skin is very common or very frequent to see patients with hemorrhagic dengue who bleed first from the mucosas or the mouth, the gums, and so on. So they should check on that. So some patients find that when they start brushing their teeth, they see blood in it. So those are things that you should look at. Or blood elsewhere, like in the urine or stools. If you have been diagnosed or you suspect you have hemorrhagic dengue, go to the hospital right away.
Also important to note is that you can get dengue multiple times, and each time you're infected, you increase your chances of developing dengue hemorrhagic.